What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Derek Chisora, Jake Paul, and Tommy Fury. Get this. Derek Chisora states that he sees fear in Tommy Fury's eyes versus Jake Paul seeing no fear. He says, quote, Jake Paul, I was with him today. He hasn't got that fear factor. He hasn't got that worried factor. He doesn't care. When I was with Tommy Fury, Tommy was in great shape, but I can tell in his eyes alone that he has got that worried factor. Remember, he comes from a boxing family, the gypsy traveling family, fighting for pride. Now he is fighting a suburban American boy who became big on YouTube by playing video games, and he is fighting a gypsy kid, a traveler kid in Saudi. You can imagine the nerves that he's got because he is fighting someone who doesn't really care, so it must be a worrying for him. Those are the words of Derek Chisora, and let me counterpunch. I absolutely have to agree. See, Jake Paul will always be a gamer. He will always have millions of subscribers. He will never have to worry about financial things unless he tries to do too much. Whereas Tommy Fury, is in a long lineage of fighting travelers. I mean, he goes all the way back for a long ways. If you look, it's before John Fury, and John Fury's dad before him. This is just the current platform. And fighting family, Huey, you have Tyson, you have Peter, you have John, you have a lot of these guys. Andy Lee, that's Tyson Fury's cousin. See, once you know that you're a prince or you're looked at as an heir to a boxing reputation, that's automatically going to bring pressure, especially with someone that's knocking out guys. Now, it might appear like he should be able to take them out if Jake Paul is all hype. See, that's the question, and I think maybe the fear and the worrying comes from, sure, the added pressure, of being in that family and the idea of losing to Jake Paul. But it's also the unknown to know if Jake Paul could actually fight or not. See, I think what bothers Tommy Fury was what he seen with the 47-year-old legend Anderson Silva, because Anderson Silva, despite being a kickboxer, despite being a former UFC legend, he was also a decent boxer. He showed us when he took on guys like Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And he showed you what he can do in that ring, and it was no cap. The man had legitimate skills. So a narrative had to be created that Jake Paul missed him with that right hand, which John Fury was claiming yesterday that Jake Paul did, because that will help the narrative show that Jake Paul doesn't have boxing skills. But guess what? What if he does? And then see, most importantly, Tommy Fury's going to have to find out. So that may be another thing or another factor that Tommy Fury is worrying about. Okay, because if he loses, we all know he loses pretty much everything. He loses the respect, he loses the title, he loses the juice. Okay, so what Derek Chisora sees, he's a fighter like any other. He sees like this guy's worried about something. Maybe the worrying factor is just being nervous or whatever because he's trying to concentrate. But again, you got a guy like Jake Paul that don't look like he gives a shit. So it may be a lot of things. You know what I mean? So it just depends on what a person does or how a person looks when they're a certain way. Okay? But yeah, nervous. I think he is, and he should be nervous because a lot's on the line for Tommy Fury. So he should be nervous. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Derek Chisora saying that he sees a worrying fear factor in Tommy Fury and not the same with Jake Paul. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!